DAZN is the home of boxing, with over 150 live fights a year.
It's over! There's no way back from this, surely!
Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble!
How do you like it? How do you like it?
That is unbelievable.
These guys will be legends in their own country, but also in the international basketball world forever.
That is what sport means. That is what the EuroLeague trophy means.
Are you not entertained?
I'm not supposed to be cheering, but this is X Series. I can do whatever I want.
Everything is difficult in this life, so still you need to be on it.
It all comes down to tonight. Don't miss the biggest night in MMA. PFL is more than a fight.
Catching up on any NFL game is easier than ever before.
Looking to the end zone for the win!
Oh my gosh, one of the great games you'll ever see.
The competition is back, and the UEFA Women's Champions League looks set to be bigger and better than ever before.
It's their time. A night to remember.
The following program is recommended for those 16 and over, as it contains sporting violence, possible bad language, and flashing imagery.
Before we go to both fighters, bring his guys to the fire quickly.
Fight night, only on DAZN.
Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are watching around the world. Welcome back to Fight Week here in wonderful Sydney, Australia. It's weigh-in day, one sleep to go. Tomorrow night live on DAZN from the Kudos Bank Arena. Five-fight card to look forward to, beginning at 7 p.m. local time. That's 8 a.m. back breakfast time in the UK with Imam Katayev, 9-09. Knockouts continuing his professional journey in the light heavyweight division. Shanika Johnson and Nina Hughes run it all back 10 months on after all the controversy for the WBA World Bantamweight Championship. There's a return to action for the popular Terra Moana Jr. Sky Nicholson and Tiara Brown finally settled their war of words for the WBC World Featherweight Championship. And of course, in the main event, late substitute Jake Wyllie believes with victory he can end the career of former lightweight ruler George Kambosos Jr., who begins his road to becoming a two-weight world champion in the main event, fighting in the hometown of Sydney for the first time in over 8 years. Jamie Ward here for today's weighing. Alongside me is promoter Eddie Hearn. Eddie, it's been a great week. The surfing didn't go too brilliantly yesterday. A bit sore today.
Yeah, I think I've just realised that at 45, at 17 stone plus and 6'5", surfing's not for me. But I gave it a good go. I mean, you weren't much better.
Well, it's not great at 5'9".
No, exactly. Yeah, I was
stone, to be
going to say 5'8", but you know, I think realistically, yeah, we'll stick to the UK and no more surfing.
It's been a great week. I want to ask you first of all about Jake Wyllie. He's been full of confidence all week, coming in with nothing to lose. But now we are very close. How do you think he'll be feeling?
He's looked great. I mean, I think that George is right in the press conference. Like, there's a big difference between being a domestic national champion and fighting someone like Kambosos, who's mixed at levels like Teofimo Lopez, like Devin Haney, like Lomachenko. But Jake you know, I mean, you could call it, maybe there's a little bit of delusion in there, and I think that will make him dangerous. But we don't know whether it's delusion or the ability to rise to those levels. You know, every young fighter believes they've watched these big stars and they can beat them. You know, he's done interviews with you where he said, I've watched this guy, you know, I see holes in him, I don't really rate him. And then you get in there and you realise it's a whole nother level. So we don't know if it's going to be a whole nother level that Wyllie can't compete with. The word on the ground here is this is a great fight. Wyllie's a big puncher, he's a tough kid, and if Kambosos is on the slide, he could be there for the taking tomorrow night.
How do you expect him to look, though?
George? I mean, he should, if he's, you know, if we're going to talk about Hitchens and those kind of guys and the ability to become a two-division world champion, he needs to beat Jake Wyllie in style. And if he beats him in style, it's going to be an explosive fight because I think these two will go toe-to-toe. I don't think Jake Wyllie's going to be thinking about anything else but to try and stick it on him and knock Kambosos out. But if George has the ability to become a two-division champion and the ability to beat someone like Richardson Hitchens, he's got to beat Jake Wyllie in style. 2
World Championship fights, also Terry Moana returning, Imam Katayev, who's 9-0 with 9 knockouts, by the way, on the card. What's your pick of the undercard?
I mean, there's been huge anticipation, huge coverage of the Sky Nicholson-Tiara Brown fight. Those two have done a great job. You know, all the images, the talk. You don't see that much on the female side of the code. Tiara's right up for it. You know, Sky Nicholson's prepared very well. We believe she's the best featherweight in the world. She's going to have to prove it against a very, very competitive Tiara Brown, who has amateur pedigree as well as the 18-0 with 11 knockouts. Former world amateur champion. This is a great fight, one of the best fights in the featherweight division.
Well, it's a great time for boxing right now, particularly in this part of the world. And news just breaking, a return to the ring May 13th for IBF and Ring Magazine. Cruiserweight king, Mr. Jai Opetaia, who is in the house right on cue as well. Mate, Jai, great to see you, sir. How are you, my friend? Come in, just announced. Jai, firstly, Eddie, let's come to you. What can you tell us about this news?
Yeah, back out on the Gold Coast, you know, defending his world title. And that's what Mick and everybody wants to do. We know the big fights are coming, the Zerdos, and, you know, the plan is to become undisputed and unified. But this guy wants to stay busy. And the event in the Gold Coast in January was wild. Like, the atmosphere, I remember seeing him walk out, you know, he was like, yeah. And we want to go back there and be back there defending the world title in May. And important to look good before trying to pick up those other belts by the end of 2025. I really want him to fight frequently this year. We want the Zurdo Ramirez fight, but also Badu Jackie's fighting Rziski coming up soon as well. And that's another fight. We've got to get all those belts before maybe the inevitable when we move up to the big boys.
Jai, back-to-back Gold Coast headliners. What excites you about this next opportunity and challenge?
To be honest, man, it's a bit frustrating. You know, I've been chasing these unifications, I've been chasing this Zurdo fight, and still it hasn't come. You know, I don't know why. You know, we're ready to go.
You're an animal, that's why.
Man, it's bullshit. You know, the best should be fighting the best. You know, I got 2 belts, he's got 2 belts. We've been trying to push for this fight, and it just doesn't make sense to me why it's not getting over the line. You know, the only reason would be he's ducking. You know, so we're really pushing for these unification fights, but you know, I can only do so much. So this is another stay busy fight, you know, which I'm not taking lightly. You know, we take all our fights serious, and you know, we're back in the gym, we're back in the office, and let's go to work.
What do you know about the man in front of you, Squire?
Man, he's a little bomber. You know what I mean? He's a 5'10", comes forward. He's nothing special, nothing I ain't seen before. You know what I mean? It's another day in the office, but I'm chasing Zurdo. You know, I'm chasing these unification fights. My eyes are locked on him. You know what I mean? Now this guy's in the way, we got to remove him, and we got to keep pushing for these unifications, man. It's frustrating.
What do you like about the throwback attitude, Eddie, of Jai Opetaia?
Well, we'll fight anyone. You know, this is, like you said, I mean, stay busy is sometimes dangerous, but that's what it is. We had a call probably 2 weeks ago with His Excellency's team and Golden Boy as well, that Golden Boy do have a mandatory coming up against Dorticus for Zurdo, but at the end of the day, like, there are ways around it, you know, and I just don't know deep down whether they want to roll the dice against Jai Opetaia. Jai's 100% bang on. Like, if you're Zurdo Ramirez, what else is there to do? Like, you could have one of the biggest fights in the sport, 3 belts on the line, and if we can't get that, we've got to move to the winner of Badu Jackie against Rziski quick, because after this one on the Gold Coast, that we have to unify, because we don't want to keep treading water. But it's down to the other fighters to want to get in the ring with him. The problem with it is the man is a beast. Everyone in boxing knows how good Jai Opetaia is. He's a pound-for-pound quality guy. But I really want, you know, if we're going to talk and sort of grab hold of those big fights and those big moments, we need the resume of undisputed. That's what I really want him to get. This is the undisputed cruiserweight world champion in the waiting and the making. but we've got to get the others in the ring. So, you know, look, His Excellency is pushing. And I believe we'll see that Zerdo fight in Riyadh season come September, October. But this is important to get back out, because the other option is just to wait. And he don't want to wait. You know, he had a great win against Naika in January. We're not waiting until September, October for the next fight. Get back out in the Gold Coast. Another big fight with Mick Francis. Tasman fighters, they've done an amazing job last time. The show was incredible. And he's carrying the back. You know, he's the biggest star in Australian boxing. Unquestionable, pound for pound. No other Australian fighter has the ability to become undisputed in their respective class and then move up and become the undisputed heavyweight world champion as well. I believe this guy can do it. So we've got to stay patient in a way, but we're also reliant upon the desire of other champions to face this animal.
What do you believe you'll do, Jai, to these other guys once you get the opportunity?
Man, in no way am I expecting like an easy fight or saying they're bad fighters, but we are the top 2 in the division. This is the only fight that makes sense to me. You know what I mean? We want to move forward. We're world champions. We want to fight the best in the division, and it just makes sense. You know what I mean? It does not. I don't know why we're dancing around or, you know, doing the whole, man, I'll take a pay cut. I'll do what I have to do to get this fight over the line. Just give me the belts.
And of course here in Sydney, just finally, you're obviously leading the charge of boxing in this part of the world, Jai, but what excites you about all the opportunities, the platform that these up-and-coming fighters in Australia are having as well now?
Man, it's huge, you know. It's such a good thing to be a part of, you know, seeing my country, you know, these guys lead and be on this international level, man. These are the things we've been waiting for, you know. It's Australia just keeps climbing and climbing and showing the rest of the world that we deserve to be on that world stage. So this is what it's about, you know, paving the way for these younger kids and then showing them that, man, bring it on. We deserve to be here. We've done our hard work, so let's get it on.
Jai Pataya back in action May 13th on the Gold Coast, live on DAZN. Jai, thanks so much for joining us. Stay healthy and fresh in camp. The road to undisputed continues, as I say, on May 13th. And look at this, the good news keeps on coming, doesn't it, for fight fans on DAZN. I keep mentioning this part of the world. Have a little look at this. The flash sale is now live. The biggest deal of the year, 30% off annual plans for Aussie fans for a limited time only. Sign up before March 24th. Only at DAZN.com. He's scary, isn't he, Jai?
Very scary.
So by the way, it's hot in here. I'm not sweating.
I don't know if he particularly likes me, to be honest with you. I never really get him.
You got a handshake?
Yeah, I did get a handshake, but he's like that with everyone. So yeah, he just wants to fight.
Yeah.
And he does it. I think a lot of these fighters, the ones that are game to fight anyone, get very frustrated with the whole, why are they not fighting me? Because you're an absolute animal and they don't think they can beat you. That's why. So we've got to find a way. And, you know, if His Excellency's watching, let's make it happen.
Great stuff. Let's get today's weigh-in underway. And look who's here. Our very own MC, Mr. David Diamante, has made the trip.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon and welcome to the Kudos Bank Arena here in Sydney, New South Wales, Australia, for the official weigh-in for our big night of world-class professional boxing taking place here tomorrow night. Now, it's all being brought to you courtesy of Mr. Eddie Hearn of Matchroom Boxing in association with Lou DiBella of DiBella Entertainment and Gold Star Promotions. Great fight card. We have 7 fights on the card with 2 world title fights, and, of course, all the action will be telecast live around the world exclusively on DAZN. Sponsored on the night by Everlast, Riyadh Season, Victory Live, and Drip. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, let's go ahead and start this weigh-in. Let's go ahead and bring the fighters up to the stage so they can face the scale and face each other. Our first contest, full rounds in the super lightweight division. Now making his way to the stage, professional record, 1 victory, 3 defeats, 1 draw. His 1 win came by knockout. He fights out of Earlwood here in NSW, Australia. Please welcome Jordan Caceres. And his opponent now making his way to the stage. Perfect professional record, 3 fights, 3 victories, 2 of them coming by way of knockout. He fights out of Sydney, New South Wales, Australia. Please welcome Jaden, the Bullet, Puwan. Now to the scale, Jordan Caceres. 63.8 kilos for Caceres, 63.8. Now to the scale, please welcome Jaden, the Bullet Buwan. $63.7 kilos for Jaden, the Bullet Buwan.
Yep, doors open at the Kudos Bank Arena, 4:30 p.m. local time tomorrow night. 2 pre-broadcast fights coming up tomorrow. Firstly here, 3-0 Jaden Buwan of Sydney meets Jordan Cassieres, 4-round super lightweights. Jaden says he's honoured to represent Sydney on this card tomorrow night.
Buwan versus Cassieres, 4-round super lightweights. Matchroom Boxing in association with DAZN Entertainment and Gold Star Promotions from Sydney, Australia.
Yep, Buwan versus Cassieres on the pre-broadcast section, 5:45 p.m. local time. That one getting underway. And that will be followed by an 8-round heavyweight affair as well. We'll throw back just in a moment to David Diamante to bring the fighters up to the stage. The anticipation really building here in Sydney for a great card of World Championship action tomorrow night.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, the weigh-in continues. 8 rounds heavyweights making his way to the stage right now. Professional record, 9 wins, 3 defeats, 1 draw, with 7 wins coming by way of knockout. He fights out of Thailand. Please welcome Ekaphobe Uraiwan. And his opponent now making his way to the stage, 23-1 with 17 knockouts. From Auckland, New Zealand, Hemi Ahio. Now to the scale, Ekaphobe Uraiwan. For Uraiwan, 107.9. Now to the scale, Hemi Ahio. 107.6 for Ahio. 107.6.
This is the moment. Tonight is the night. We'll fight till it's over. So we put our hands up like the ceiling.
8 rounds heavyweights, Ahio versus Uraiwan. Matchroom Boxing, DAZN Entertainment, Gold Star Promotions, live on DAZN from Sydney, Australia.
6:15 p.m. and that will lead us in just nicely to the live DAZN broadcast. 7 p.m. in Sydney, 8 a.m. back in the UK. What a way to begin your weekend back home in London. And the first fight of the night will be unbeaten Imam Katayev, who's ranked in the top 10 of the WBC and the IBF, 9-0 with 9 knockouts. Also,
ladies and gentlemen, the weigh-in continues out here. 10 rounds light heavyweights now making his way to the stage. This bout is also in association with Ferocious Promotions, making his way to the stage. 14-3, 11 knockouts from Salta, Argentina. Please welcome Durval El Bombardero Palacio. His opponent now making his way to the stage, 9-0, all wins by knockout. Originally from Urus Martan, Chechnya, Russia, now living, training, and fighting out of Sydney, Australia. Here is the Sydney Destroyer, Imam Katayev. Now to the scale, El Bombardero, Durval Palacio. 79.9 for Palacio. Now to the scale, the undefeated Sydney Destroyer, Imam Katayev. $79.8 for Katayev, 79.8. Gatayev versus Palacio. 10 rounds light heavyweights, matchroom boxing. DeBella Entertainment, Gold Star Promotions, and Ferocious Promotions live on DAZN. Ladies and gentlemen, next contest, 6 rounds in the heavyweight division. Brought to you by Matchroom Boxing, DeBella Entertainment, Gold Star Promotions, and this is in association with DAZN Fighters as well. Making his way to the stage, 12-5, 11 knockouts. He fights out of Sigatoka, Fiji. Please welcome James the Beast Singh. Singh. And his opponent now making his way to the stage. Professional record, absolutely perfect. 6 fights, 6 victories, all of them coming by way of knockout. Here is the 2024 Olympian fighting out of Brisbane, Queensland, Australia, and proudly representing his Cook Island heritage. Please welcome Tera Moana. Tera Moana. Tera Moana. Now to the scale, the Beast, James Singh. $122.8 for James the Beast Singh, 122.8. Now to the scale, the undefeated Tera Moana. $119 bang on for Tera Moana, 119 kilos for Tera Moana. Tera Moana versus James Singh. 6 rounds heavyweights, matchroom boxing. DeBella Entertainment, Gold Star Promotions, and DAZN Fighters live on DAZN from Sydney, Australia. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's now time to weigh in the first of our 2 world title fights on the night as we go 10 rounds for the WBA Bantamweight Championship of the World. Now making her way to the stage, please welcome the challenger, 6-1 with 2 knockouts. She fights out of Billericay, Essex, England. Here is the former WBA Bantamweight Champion of the World, Nina Hughes. And her opponent now making her way to the stage. She is a defending world champion. Professional record, 16 victories, 2 defeats, 6 wins coming by way of knockout. Originally from New Zealand and now training, living, and fighting out of Melbourne, Australia. Here's the former IBF Super Bantamweight world champion and the reigning and defending WBA Bantamweight Champion of the World, Chanika Sugarneeks Johnson. Now to the scale, Nina Hughes. $53.2 kilos for Nina Hughes. 53.2. Now to the scale, the defending world champion, Sugarneeks, Chanika Johnson. The same, 53.2 for Chanika Johnson, 53.2. Johnson versus Hughes. 10 rounds for the WBA Bantamweight Championship of the World. Matchroom Boxing in association with DeBella Entertainment and Gold Star Promotions, live on the DAZN from Sydney, Australia.
Boys in blue wanna hear the truth. Cuff my wrist, don't go accused. They know I'm loose, got nothing to prove. Talk about me when I'm not in view. Put me and them in the same room, take them off mute. Cause I refuse to show mercy. Step to the plate, you're not worthy. Afraid of what? My hands are dirty, I leave them drenched if they feel thirsty. They lock me up, it's no effect. I do it all day, it's no effect. I go to war like...
All right, ladies and gentlemen, now time to weigh in the chief support of the evening as Mr. Eddie Hearn from Matchroom Boxing, in association with Lou DeBella from DeBella Entertainment, Gold Star Promotions, and OTX, are proud to present 10 rounds for the WBC Featherweight Championship of the World. Now making her way to the stage, please welcome the challenger. Professional record perfect, 18 fights, 18 victories with 11 wins coming by way of knockout. She fights out of Fort Myers, Florida, USA. Here is the Dark Menace, Tiara Brown. And her opponent now making her way to the stage. She is a defending world champion. She's a southpaw with a perfect professional record, 12-0, 1 knockout. Saturday night, she'll be making her 3rd defense of her world title. Fighting out of Queensland, Australia. Here's the 2020 Olympian and the reigning, defending, undefeated WBC featherweight champion of the world, Skye Nicolson. Now to the scale, the Dark Menace, Tiara Brown. $56.5 for Tiara Brown. 56.5 for Tiara Brown. Now to the scale, the undefeated world champion, Skye Nicolson. $57.1 for Skye Nicolson, 57.1. Skye Nicolson, Tiara Brown, 10 rounds for the WBC Featherweight Championship of the World. Matchroom Boxing in association with DeBella Entertainment, Gold Star Promotions, and OTX, live on DAZN from Sydney, Australia. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's an absolute pleasure to welcome everybody here to Sydney, New South Wales, Australia for the official weigh-in for our big night of world-class professional boxing taking place at the Kudos Bank Arena tomorrow night. And it's now time to weigh in the main event of the evening. As Mr. Eddie Hearn from Matchroom Boxing, in association with Lou DeBella of DeBella Entertainment, Gold Star Promotions, and Ferocious Promotions, are proud to present 12 rounds of boxing in an international super lightweight contest. Now making his way to the stage, Professional record, 16 victories, 1 defeat. He has 15 wins coming by way of knockout. Originally from Warwick, Queensland, Australia, he now lives, trains, and fights out of Brisbane. Here is the hard-hitting and the reigning Australian super lightweight champion, Jake the Machine Wyllie. Wyllie. And his opponent now making his way to the stage. His professional record, 21 victories, 3 defeats, with 10 wins coming by way of knockout. Proudly fighting out of Sydney, New South Wales, Australia, here's the former lightweight champion of the world, George Ferocious Kambosos Jr. Now to the scale, Jake the Machine Wyllie. $63.3 for Jake the Machine Wyllie, 63.3. And now to the scale, George Ferocious Kambosos Jr. $63.2 kilos, 63.2 for George Kambosos Jr.
I'm from the city where they stretch, yeah, like slinkies. And now I'm doing shows in Helsinki. I know what y'all thinking that you can outthink me, but you can't, frankly. I'm out for the Benjis, Frankies, you know. Just cause you ain't me, don't hate me. As a matter of fact, you should thank me, even if you don't, you're welcome, Yankees. Zigga, 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 zow. Who got the keys to the world now? Yours truly. Blah, 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 blah. They can't, they won't, they never will. Stop the party. They can't, they won't, they never will. Stop the party. I say y'all having a good time out there.
George Kambosos Jr., Jake Wyllie, 12-round super lightweights, Matchroom Boxing, DeBella Entertainment, Gold Star Promotions, Ferocious Promotions, live on DAZN from Sydney, New South Wales, Australia.
Okay, well, we are on the stage to try and grab a word with both sides of the main event. Jake, let's bring you in first. Oh, sorry, sir. We'll just bring Jake to the front of the stage. Jake, weight made. Here we go. You've had a big smile on your face all week. Now we are very nearly there. How are you feeling?
Mate, I'm feeling great. Made weight easy as ever. I'm here. Watch me tomorrow night put on a show. Get this fight out of the way with and be the new champ.
What is this, Jake, your opportunity to do, not just in terms of your boxing journey, but your life as well?
This is a massive, this can change my life and, you know, I'm more than ready and focused and I will get through George Kambosos tomorrow night.
And on that front, you've said that the man over there is beatable. You've felt that for many years. In your mind, you say you've envisioned this for such a long time, Jake. How do you beat George Kambosos here in Sydney tomorrow?
Turn up tomorrow night and you'll see.
Okay, Jake Wyllie, wish you the best of luck tomorrow night. Thanks so much. Let's head over the stage and bring in Ferocious Kambosos, who tells us the ferocious version of yourself is very much back at 140. How's the body feeling today?
Look at me. Look how good I look. Weight cut was amazing, very easy, and I'm ready to make a statement out of it. Like I said, I respect the kid. I don't want to disrespect him, but tomorrow, for all you ones disrespecting me, I'm going to make a fucking statement out of him tomorrow because of you guys.
What were you saying to Jake Wyllie there, George, in the face-off?
I know he's been running all morning. I know he's been running all night. I know he's been in saunas and trying to cut the weight. So good work, good stuff, champ. You cut the weight, but tomorrow I'll put it on you.
And what is your promise back in Sydney? I know it's a big moment for you personally as well. For the first time in over 8 years as a professional in your home city, what's your promise to these fans live on DAZN tomorrow night?
I'm back, baby. That's what my promise is. I'm back. I'm going to showcase tomorrow, make a statement out of him, and then we'll see after that.
George Kambosos, best of luck to you tomorrow night in the main event. Kambosos versus Wyllie headlines a great card here in Sydney, live on DAZN tomorrow night.
For all the fight fans gathered here, make some noise! What a right hand!
George Kambosos just fought the fight of his life.
Big left hand there from Nicholson. Champion of the world!
Hughes is just relentless.
Oh, beautiful punches from Johnson. Nina Hughes remains champion.
Fighting out of the blue corner!
He made a mistake.
Powerful from Taramoana.
This kid's the real deal. I believe you're looking at the future world heavyweight champion.
OK, then all that's left to do is fight, and this is what's coming your way tomorrow night from the Kudos Bank Arena here in Sydney. Look at the wonderful sunshine and promises to be a wonderful night of boxing as well tomorrow night, 7 p.m. local time. Imam Katayev looks to move 10-0 and extend it perfectly with 10 knockouts as well in the opener. Shanika Johnson and Nina Hughes put all the controversy to bed in the rematch. Tara Moana is back in action, the popular Australian heavyweight. Sky Nicholson defends her WBC World Featherweight Championship against Tiara Brown. And of course, in your main event, you heard him there, ferocious and fired up 140 pounds. George Kambosos Jr. begins his road to becoming a two-weight world champion in the main event against Jake Wyllie, who's here to spoil the homecoming Sydney party. I'm back alongside me now is Jai Opetaia and promoter Eddie Hearn, because I believe, Eddie, you've got something you want to do here, have you?
Well, as I was calling on His Excellency to make the big fight for Jai Opetaia, I got up on the stage and he said, answer me now on the live stream.
Okay.
And I had 2 missed calls from him. So I told him that we'll be calling him back shortly whilst we're talking about George Kambosos. I'm interested to know what he's got to say. Could be some good news for Mr. Opetaia.
Well, before, as we wait for His Excellency to answer, what did you make of what you heard from George? He's fired up.
He's fired up. You know, I think George, there's a big part of George that feels like he's been disrespected over the years. But when people say, oh, he's lost 3 times, he lost to Haney and he lost to Lomachenko. He bought real big fights here. You know, when he won that undisputed championship, he really could have taken a couple of defences. But, you know, now all of a sudden there's this young kid from Brisbane who's saying he's going to knock him out. And he's thinking, hang on a minute, this is, you know, in a little bit of way, this has a little bit of the feelings of Opetaia against Naika. You know, kind of late replacement, a young man coming in, full of heart, full of confidence, and you've got to come and, you know, rise up to the levels. Can Jake do it? You know, the question marks over George Kambosos is what does he have left? He's moving up to 140. Wylie's a game kid, you know. He's not going to be an easy night in there.
What do you make, Jai, of George Kambosos as a character?
Yeah, you know, I've known George Kambosos since we were kids in their young amateur days. So he's always been the same. You know, he's always been, you know, believed in himself and had the good work rate. You know, always had that, you know, that Kambosos about him. But yeah, it's good, man. This fight's great for Australian boxing. It shows a lot of heart. You know, Jake Wyllie coming in, so it's exciting. Good for Australia.
How you getting on, Eddie?
Well, we're waiting.
Do you know what? While we're here, I want to ask you a question because the world of media went mental this morning. Anthony Joshua against Jake Paul. Please put this to bed or light the fire. What's going on?
I mean, sorry. This is the first time I've spoken about the fight. To be honest, like, I look at it and I think Jake Paul against Anthony Joshua. I mean, look, for me, we'd do it for the banter. Do you know what I mean? Like, AJ would fight Jake Paul. He'd fight anyone, to be honest with you. And if Jake Paul wants to step up and fight Anthony Joshua, he'll need the relevant insurance. But, you know, the only thing that was disappointing was he says 2026. I mean, that's like calling someone out. That's like me saying, you know, LA Olympics for the surfing, 2028, I'll be there. Do you know what I mean? Do it in 2025 if you really want to do it. You're not going to get really much better at this stage. But I don't know, those two have spoken. I spoke to AJ this morning. He went, listen, of course, I'd fight. I mean, you know, if the question was asked to Jai, would you fight Jake Paul? And there was...
I wouldn't fight him, I'd bash him.
Yeah. But he might do it. He might just do it for, you know, just for doing it, for the sake of it. But obviously we know. Listen, Jake creates massive events, right? You know that's going to create, like, unbelievable viewership. And, no disrespect to Jake Paul, it's a straightforward night's work. But, you know, I like this calling out of Canelo and all this. AJ it's another challenge up there. But, you know, if they're game, why not?
What did he say, AJ, to you about it?
He said, why not? I said, what do you want me to say when I'm asked about it? And he said, tell everyone I'll fight anyone, anytime. It's not a problem for me. Who knows where it'll go?
How would you see that fight going, Joe?
Mate, I don't know what we're talking about him, honestly, Dave. I'm chasing world titles up here. I'm waiting for a unification phone call, so fuck him.
What are you hoping is going to be said here?
Oh, man, I'm hoping he say he's got a date next week. Let's make it happen. Man, I'm just hoping he's going to lock it in, but, you know, we never know. So.
Well, we might miss the stream on this one, but the call's coming.
Hopefully it will come. I want to ask you a quick one, Jai, just about Jake Wyllie. We love this. Look, he was in camp. He was coming to Sydney to come to the fight. He said he bought tickets in the cheap seats just to be around a fight week. We love this game of boxing, don't we? We love stories like this.
Of course, man. You know, this is one of those underdog stories, you know what I mean? He's Kambosos has trained for a whole different fighter, so it's exciting. It's great for Australia, and it's great for Jake Wyllie, you know, getting an opportunity like that. He's fought on many Tasman fighter cards down at the music hall, so I've seen him bang. I've seen him. He's got a lot of ticker, you know what I mean? And with Kambosos, you're going to have a lot of ticker, you know what I mean? They got that high work rate, that you know, fast hands, so it's exciting.
Step
man.
too far for Jake?
We'll
level
find out, won't we?
You never know, I guess.
He ain't been on that level yet, you know what I mean? You only rise as high as you can, you know what I mean? So maybe this will bring another level out of him. We'll see the best version of Jake Wyllie for this fight. So.
Just before we do end the stream, because I think we need to give this every opportunity to maybe happen, let's just remind the DAZN viewers, the DAZN subscribers, about something coming their way, a very special offer, 30% off in this part of the world. Look at that, the flash sale is now live. Sign up before March 24th. 30% off annual plans. Eddie, what a deal. That's too good to miss, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, look, DAZN, for a long time, the home of boxing. I mean, you know, we've got obviously so much coming up from around the world tonight. Back in Manchester next week, you know, you've got Ben Eubank coming up. You've got Boots against Stanionis coming up. Now you've got the return of the King, Jai Opetaia, on the Gold Coast. So, you know, so much to come. And
I'm going to try and call him too.
Go on, you call him as well.
Jai Opetaia is about to try and call Turkey Al Sheikh. Let's see.
I want to hear what he's...
This is the beauty of live TV. I always say that. I mean, people will be watching this because they want to just see this unfold. So we're not ending the stream yet. We've been told, right, that's it. One more to Eddie and wrap up. No chance. We're not doing it. No. Let's see what happens here. It could be massive news.
It's Gold TV.
In terms of the build-up to the other shows, Eddie, next week, Pat Brown.
Yeah, Pat Brown makes his professional debut in it. Brilliant crop of young Olympians as well. Boots against Stanionis, for me, one of the standout nights of the year, April 12th. Ben Eubank, April 26th. And then the wild weekend, Times Square, May the 2nd, May the 3rd, of course, Canelo in Riyadh as well, non-stop. And I reckon he's gone to bed, the big boss. So we'll have to take this conversation off air and then get the fight done.
Keep your eyes peeled on Matchroom DAZN socials for an update on this front. Great to be joined by Mr. Jai Opetaia, who's chasing all the big names, isn't he, in this cruiserweight division, Eddie Hearn as well. And let's just sign off with these wonderful shots of the Kudos Bank Arena here in Sydney, Australia. A great night of boxing coming your way tomorrow night, 7 p.m, live on DAZN from here in Sydney, local time, 8 a.m, breakfast time back in the UK. Promises to be a terrific night. From myself, Jamie Ward, from Jai Opetaia, Eddie Hearn, we'll see you live on DAZN tomorrow night.
Let me tell y'all a little something. Uptown, funk you up. Uptown, funk you up. Uptown, funk you up. Uptown, funk you up. I said uptown, funk you up. Uptown, funk you up. Uptown, funk you up. Uptown, funk you up. Come on, dance, jump on it. If you sexed and flown it. If you freak dead and own it. Don't brag about it, come show me.